Hey guys, it's Josh Brown. I'm here at StockTwits headquarters on Avenue of the Americas in New York City. I'm here with Justin Paterno and Ian Rosen. Ian, you're the CEO, and Justin is executive chairman?
Executive chairman, that's right.
All right, so the first thing I want to say is they did not offer me anything to drink when I got here. I don't know if that's...
Somebody should have offered you.
Right?
Yeah,
I feel like you guys are serious
we'll fire
company
somebody.
now.
Yeah.
So I've known you both of you guys for about 10 years, and StockTwits has been around for 11?
Yeah.
10?
10 or 11.
So I'm like a day one. You're a day one. Okay. So I wanted to talk about some of the things that you guys are doing, but before we go there, I want to just have you explain what is StockTwits for the people watching or listening that are not yet familiar.
Right. So StockTwits is the largest social network for investors and traders.
You seem nervous. You could just tell me the truth.
Yeah, you know, like that was so weird. So we're the smallest social network for investors and traders. We have just about 2 million users. We have really high engagement, about 200,000 messages a day. Our users spend about an hour a day time on site, and they're talking about everything from stocks to ETFs and options and cryptos, and just generally having fun and learning from each other.
2 million users is huge.
Yeah, it's gotten pretty
I remember
big.
when it was like 10,000 users, and that was hard to manage that community.
Yeah.
How are you managing a community of 2 million users?
So as social networks grow, and we have accelerated our growth as kind of demographics have had more young people jump in, there are a couple ways you can kind of organize the information, right? So Facebook and Twitter do it one way, which is to algorithmically choose what you see. We have actually chosen to go away more like Reddit, where we want to put the tools to organize the community in the hands of the community itself.
So you're organizing by topics?
Yeah, by topics. So people can set up their own rooms, we call them, and just do what they want.
So, and then there's the ticker pages, which is the way that I use it.
That's
so somebody that wants to know what's the latest chatter on a stock can go right to that ticker page.
Exactly right.
Okay. And then the rooms are what? Like experts in a certain subject matter and people...
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
It's just people, right? So anyone can set up a room, and they can set it up around any topic they want. So it could be esports or Brexit or cannabis or whatever you want. And the interesting ones kind of bubble to the top, and the community decides what's interesting.
Justin, is cannabis blowing up on StockTwits these days?
Yeah, it's actually been blowing up the last couple days.
Okay.
Everyone's saying all the crypto money is moving into weed again.
That's that classic rotation that Ben Graham wrote about.
Yeah, no, it's been...
when the crypto psychos move into...
We learned about it in business school, but it's crazy to see it happen.
It's fun to see it happen in real time.
Yeah.
So, all right. So those stocks are stocks that trade, stocks that move, and people that are looking for that, that's where they're finding it.
Yeah,
I mean, it could be any stock. You know,
I think like you see with the younger investors, which we see a lot of, they're investing in the trends they see. Crypto, they see the trend with weed. They see the trend with crypto. They see some of the companies they use like Snap.
Right. Why wouldn't they want to trade those stocks? They're
yeah,
familiar with
it's their
what's going
GEs, and I think it's been a little unfortunate that they've stayed they've stayed private for so long, because it could have been a much nicer market for a lot of these investors. But they want to invest in their companies.
Now, what happens when a new company like Uber or Lyft come along? You guys create the stream for it before it's even public. You anticipate the ticker.
So one of the early things we did, as we got started, we created tickers for all the private companies at the time.
Assuming they would come eventually.
Assuming they would come public. Well, at the time, we thought maybe people would talk about these private companies. And some of them they did. Like Uber, they definitely talked about. But we started to aggregate, some discussion and some content there. And then once when they file the S1, if the ticker changed, we'll update the ticker. And we already have a link. We already have a community around those tickers. And I think what you'll see is, if you search some of these new tickers like Twitter or Netflix on Google, like we're ranking higher than anyone else, because we've already been there. It's like our Qualcomms, our Cisco's,
right.
That like.
Right, these are stocks that people have been talking about for years, regardless of whether or not they were stocks, because they're relevant to the discussion about other things.
Yeah. And I think, with all these companies that you literally have access to on your phone, you feel much, very involved in it as a consumer. And I think that's translating.
Yeah, like everyone has an opinion about Uber before it's public, just by virtue of being a user of it. Like a regular user of it.
And in the 90s, that wasn't the case. Like, no, people thought they had an opinion on Pets.com, and no one freaking used it. Now everyone has very serious opinions on Uber.
Well, that's one of the things that I keep saying. Like, I was around in '99, so we have companies going public without earnings now. That's true, but those companies were going public with no revenues.
Yeah, no customers or anything.
That's like a very different world. I want to ask you about some of the new things that you guys have done with the StockTwits platform. The first one is you have 1,000 character limit now. So Twitter is 280. Started at What is it? 240?
280.
280.
Laugh at me. Wait. So why did you make it 1,000? What do you think that brings to the table for users?
Yeah, I mean, just like 140 was somewhat arbitrary. I mean, I guess it matched this SMS protocol. We chose 1,000. Because we thought that would be
140
enough.
was the length of a text.
Yeah, it was the length of a text.
So that's
then arbitrarily moved up to 280 because it's double. We thought 1,000 would
double
give
is better, so 1,000 is
yeah,
amazing.
1,000's like triple. We thought that would give enough space for someone to give their opinion on a stock. We tested it on our Rooms platform, and we gathered data over there. And what we found was, most messages stayed below 140. Today, it's still only 16% of messages are above 140.
Why does somebody go to 1,000 on StockTwits? What are they doing? Are they putting a research report on there?
They're just explaining their thesis a little bigger.
Why not just a thread like we do on Twitter?
Yeah, they can. They don't have to thread. They can put like 1 or 2 bullet points, which for most people that's enough. I mean, most people are not going to have their own blog, but they want to just say a little bit more. And we're seeing now, engagement and engagement is positively correlated with the length of a message. So
is that true?
Yeah.
So then why not go 2,000? Like, there's got to be a limit.
I mean, you want to maintain the speed and the brevity of the platform, but it's definitely a good addition.
You don't want Dear Diary.
Yeah, and people are going to use the tool. Like, your text box is only this big, right? So they're going to use the tool based on the size of the message box, unless you're talking to an weird ex-girlfriend or boyfriend. You're not sending long texts. So we can control kind of how the platform's used by how you design the box.
So do you think it's a conspiracy that the Fed doesn't include your new 1,000-character limit in their CPI calculation of inflation?
I mean,
Do you feel like they're suppressing that information? They say there's no inflation. I think I found it, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So many of StockTwits' messages are these short responses to other things, but you don't necessarily have the opportunity to say something in depth. So that was it is a big improvement. And what Justin's saying is that the data that we have just seen is that there's literally more engagements on the longer messages. That's not something that we necessarily expect.
Oh, so it wasn't about that, but it turns out that that's a side effect.
Yeah,
which is a good thing.
One, yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you about the brokerage. So I don't know what you can and can't say at this stage in the game, but I know this is something that you guys have been working on for a long time and you're pretty excited about. What can you say? What should people know about the StockTwits brokerage?
So look, for 10 years we've been sitting here and watching our community engage with each other and learn from each other and figure out how to invest and get better.
And then trade somewhere else.
Right. Well, it's not that we care that they're trading somewhere else per se. It's that the next logical step they're taking with their actual money is happening in a way that is not necessarily coincident with the reasons they're on StockTwits, which is to have fun and to learn from each other. And platforms aren't necessarily giving people the opportunity to engage and learn in ways that they would want to. So we looked around. We connected 5 brokerages, you might remember, to our platform. We had over $1 billion in assets connected.
Who were the others? Who was on there? Like E-Trade,
E-Trade, TDA,
all the big ones.
Robinhood.
Okay.
And we learned a lot about how people use them, and it was really interesting. But we also had this sort of feeling like people were being, kind of who were new, were being dropped off on the top of a mountain with a free mountain bike and saying, "Hey, good luck. I hope you're okay."
Oh, so now you have this little bit of knowledge. You want to act on it. Go have fun.
What we wanted to do is to extend the really positive things that were happening on StockTwits in terms of learning into the transaction area, which is arguably the most important, even if it's the most kind of commodity area. It's like you want to make sure that happens properly and that people are actually taking
you can
steps.
also control the user interface. And so if someone's about to trade a security, can you put the latest messages on that security on that page, or what are you able to do with that?
Yeah. So without getting into exact features, Justin can give some in a minute. But the whole thesis behind why we did this, not through partnership, not by buying another one, not with some kind of white label, is because we want to create an experience that is specifically high engagement, so you can share things, so you can compete with each other, so you can share your story. If you look at what happens on StockTwits, I went into Tesla here, this is what happened, this is what didn't happen, and this kind of market company narrative that's happening, but there's no way to connect that with the actual action. Then you're just dropped off to go to E-Trade and buy and sell.
Can you hit buy on a trade or sell and have a verified purchase or sale go to the stream so people know if you're a real money trader or just a pretend trader?
I mean, we see that opportunity to basically, match the conversation that happens with the transactions that are happening. That's our area of trust. It's really our identity, right? Right. Facebook says they have your real world identity. We want to have your trading world identity.
Your real money identity.
And what we've seen, right? And social media is, it's a mirror of the real world. And
it's a fun house mirror.
Yeah,
of
it's
the
a
real
fun
world.
house mirror. And, from what we've seen over the years is, brokerages could do better. And, that's the reflection we're seeing. And as the largest, community for active investors and traders, we want to make that community better. And that's why we're doing what
So
we're doing.
what's the brokerage called?
Trade app.
Trade app?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's like available, you could download it right now?
No. So we're in friends and family right now. You can get on a wait list right now, and then we'll have it in the middle of summer probably.
So I feel bad. Where's my invitation?
Your family, so you'll get it.
Okay. One way or the other. And what else? What else should we talk about on the latest updates of StockTwits? Anything I missed?
I think most of our energies right now are focused on this trade app. And the reason for that is because we feel that we have done a good job. We think we've done a good job of putting our community first and to have a healthy place to talk about investing. This was such a big step for us to go from being a media company to a financial services company, and we wanted to make sure to do it right, because even though you look at StockTwits and from the outside we're this sort of fun, irreverent, meme thing, in reality as a company we're actually pretty careful and pretty conservative, and we built a great team to do this, and we want people to react and respond in positive ways.
It's a good idea. I hope it works out. And then, any thoughts about having asset management be part of it, or is that like a whole other conversation out in the
Do a
distance?
little Ritholtz tie-up?
No. Well, let's say there's somebody who's really influential in the community in a certain style or strategy, and then that person says, you know what? I have 100,000 fans on StockTwits.
100%.
And now there's Trade App. What if I have an SMA inside a Trade App?
This is what I believe, what we believe, and not just in this product, but in this company and across other areas. That ultimately there are products, and then there are communities and networks, and that we put all of our energy into making sure that our community is a healthy place for people to trust what we do with them. So we're launching a brokerage because we want to do a better job on brokerage,
right.
And some things we won't necessarily launch ourselves, but the question as to whether or not we would want to have other financial products be a part of this, if that's appropriate. Not everyone's going to be trading stocks. They could be in cash. They could be robos. They could want to talk to the Josh Browns and the Ritholtzes of the world. And I think our mission is to make sure that we create that platform.
Well, you've done it. I think you've done it.
Thank you.
You guys are doing a great job, and congrats on 10 years. Congrats on 2 million users. It's pretty incredible. How big do you think this thing can get?
Like a billion?
What's a billion users?
Maybe 2 billion.
Can we get 1/7 of all people trading and memeing about stocks?
Yeah. We want. I think the right answer to that question is the community grows organically. We don't market.
Sure.
It just grows completely organically. Could be up to 60% a year, sometimes 30%, but really a lot. The number of people who are going to engage with things like Trade App and our other products is going to, hopefully, if we do a good job, far outstrip that. Because the number of people who want to talk about investing is much smaller than the number of people who want to invest and have money they have to deal with. But the foundation for having that productive conversation and learning will always be that community. So I think it'll grow. I mean, I don't know what number you want me to pick, but the answer is it's going to continue to grow, because the way people younger than all of us are, but all of us are aging into making decisions is through discovery and social and what are my friends doing, and we're the largest platform to do
right.
that.
So young traders and investors, their first encounter with markets involves social.
Right.
It's not, hey, I buy and sell, and then also maybe I'll talk about
right.
it.
Right. Which is how
the
the original platforms were doing it, but like, what are my friends doing? What are smart people doing? What are people that look like me doing? I mean, how do I sort of figure out how to buy a fridge? I go listen to other people. I don't go do my own homework.
I totally agree. Well, congrats, guys. Thanks for being on the show. Anyone that wants to join up with StockTwits, StockTwits.com, very simple. Download the app. It's a phenomenal service. If you're an active investor, you're absolutely going to love it. Let us know what you think. Leave us a comment below. Make sure it's a nice one. Go ahead and smash that like button for me a couple times too, and we will talk to you soon.